Hello everyone and welcome back to another video by MacDonald Bullion. This video I wanted to focus on the price that you'd be paying of a 1 ounce gold Britannia, a sovereign and a 1 gram gold bar over the course of 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. I figured it might make an interesting video, especially for those new people getting into gold, to see how much the gold price has gone up. Now we can check online to see how much it's gone up, I get that, but adding the premiums on sovereigns, Britannias, 1 gram gold bars as well, I figured it might make an interesting thing. So disclaimer, the prices that I'll be showing will be inaccurate. The gold prices will change constantly all the time. I've gone off an average from looking at some sites and determining a value of £50 on average for a premium of a 1 ounce gold Britannia, £30 for a sovereign, and £12 of a 1 gram gold bar. So please take the figures with a pinch of salt. They will change, but we'll just get straight into it. So at the current time of recording, let me just get it here. The price of gold is currently sitting at £2,489. That is the price of gold today. Now, if I was to go back just a year ago when it comes to the price of gold, the price of gold just 1 year ago was going to be £1,862. Adding £50 onto that, you're looking at just over £1,900, so £1,910 for a 1 ounce gold Britannia. With the 1 ounce gold Britannias now, with the price being £2,486, adding £50 onto that, you're looking at a nice little return, actually, £600 or so, £700. So you've done very well if you've got into gold in the past year, especially with buying a Britannia. Let's look back on 3 years. So 3 years ago, a 1 ounce gold Britannia spot would have been £1,427. That is a return, I believe, which I will have here, of 72%. So just the yearly return 1 year, it would have been 32%. 3 years is going to be 72%. So if you'd have got into gold 3 years ago, you've done really, really well as well. 72% is a great return on investment. So going back just 5 years ago, I believe is not going to be far off the 3-year figures. I've had to do this video again because the audio was so terrible on the other video. I've had to re-record it, so please bear with me. But £1,511, add £50 onto it, £1,560. So £1,560 for a 1 ounce gold Britannia 5 years ago. But there was a little dip in the market, as you can tell by just hearing the figures. But over the course of the 5 years, it has gone up. Even with £1,510 being the spot value just 5 years ago, it's up £1,000 since then. But 10 years ago, if we look at the gold price, a 1 ounce gold Britannia is going to be £716, 31.1 grams of pure gold. £716 plus £50, 766. Compare that to today's value, that's a return of 254% on the spot value alone. So that is a very, very healthy return. Now, going straight into grams, now what I have to do, so you're going to have to just bear with me, is I'm going to do 7.90 and then times that by 7.32. 7.32 is the pure gold content in a sovereign. So I'm going to do 79.90 times by 7.32, and that will give me £584 is the spot value of a sovereign at the time of recording. This will change. If I was to go back 3 years ago and see what the value was, a gram of gold is £45. Let's do the same calculation. So 45 times 7.32. That will give me £329. So if you'd have bought a sovereign 3 years ago from the time of making this video, the spot value is going to be £329. Add like £30 premium, for example. It's a new sovereign, it's nice. £359, not including delivery. So again, the 72% is going to be it's going to be a vast amount when it comes to how much you paid if you got into it 3 years ago. I remember seeing these prices and thinking they were quite high at the time, and of course they've gone a lot higher, so that was a silly mistake on my behalf. But 5 years ago, you're looking at £47, so not a lot of difference, but let's just do it. 47 times 7.32, that will give you £344. Add £30 onto it, that will give you £374 for a sovereign, not including delivery. So, going back 10 years, let's see how much that would be. 10 years, if you bought a 1 gram, not a 1 gram, sorry, I'm looking at 1 grams. If you bought a sovereign, it was £22. So again, let's do the calculation. 22 times 7.32. That's going to give you a value of £161 plus 30 for the premium of a sovereign, £191 not including delivery, should you have bought a sovereign 10 years ago in 2015. So in those last 10 years alone, the price has changed 254%. So a big change on that investment. The price change went from a 10-year low of £22.32 to a 10-year high of £83.04, which gold recently hit £2,600, but has come down a little to £2,485. Now, is that going to be the, is it an investment? Is it not? Some people agree, some people disagree. I'm not here to say whether it is or it isn't. Could it be the currency debasement? Actually, the pound that's falling? Yeah, more pounds are chasing the value of gold. It's devaluing constantly. It could be, what is real inflation? When we look at milk, eggs, and that sort of thing, I checked the Office of the National Statistics looking at the value change in the year between March 22 and March 23, and that was a 40% year change. So in the last 10 years alone, has it really made you money? Not really. It's just protected your purchasing power. It's, preserving your wealth. It's not adding money like dividends and things like that. It just sits there. But it's a very good savings tool in terms of, in my view anyway. But going off the Bank of England, £1,000 10 years ago, that has that to pay for these same goods and services today, it'd be over £1,300 going with what they've reported with inflation. But we all know it's going to be much higher than that because rent, bills, food, that sort of thing, it's gone up much more than that figure. But gold's a useful tool when it comes to savings. I find it really useful. It's just a little bit of banking that you can use outside of the traditional banking system, I suppose. But I hope that was useful to see it. The 1 gram gold bars, I do want to say as well, apologies, I was going to miss that out. But I found with the spot price being £79 today, the usually the cheapest 1 gram gold bars are going to be about £11-12 over that. When I found from Tavex, you can get them cheaper if they're loose bars, but let's say for argument's sake £11-12, they're about 90 quid now. And even putting that premium into 1 gram gold bars 10 years ago, with it being £31, with the spot being £22, you would have seen quite a nice little return despite paying 20 to 30%. But one thing I do want to stress is that spread when it comes to gold is very important. 1 ounce gold Britannias, sovereigns are going to be the best things that you can put your money into. When it comes to keeping that spread, that value as close to spot as possible, they are very good. And they're capital gains tax exempt. So capital gains tax can be changed at any time. Why run the risk? Just keep sovereigns, keep Britannias. They do brilliantly. And I hope that was helpful. Again, the figures are not going to be hugely accurate. The premiums are not going to be hugely accurate because I've only got into this a few years ago. If they were completely different 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, please do let me know. But especially for the newer stackers, the newer investors, you can see how much it's changed over the course of 10 years. And I know we could have checked the graph before, but hopefully it provides a little bit of insight for you. But hopefully that was helpful. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the very next video.